So today I'm going to pick up where I left off yesterday, Diary of a Wimpy Kid. I'll show you the pictures as we're going through, okay? So this says Wednesday. Today we had PE. So the first thing I did when I got outside was sneak off to the basketball court to see if the cheese was still there. And sure enough, it was. So here's the basketball court. There's the cheese. That piece of cheese has been sitting on the blacktop since last spring. I guess it must have dropped out of somebody's sandwich or something. After a couple of days, the cheese started getting all moldy and nasty. Nobody would play basketball on that court where the cheese was, even though that was the only court that had a hoop with a net. Then one day, a kid named Darren Walsh touched the cheese with his finger. And that's what started this thing called the cheese touch. It's basically like cooties. If you get the cheese touch, you're stuck with it until you pass it on to someone else. The only way to protect yourself from the cheese touch is to cross your fingers. You think that's true? No. Now we just have words here for a while. But it's not that easy remembering to keep your fingers crossed every moment of the day. I ended up taping mine together so that they'd stay crossed the whole time. I got a D in handwriting, but it was totally worth it. This one kid named Abe Hall got the cheese touch in April, and no one ever came near him for the rest of the year. That summer, Abe moved to California, took the cheese touch with him. I just hope someone doesn't start the cheese touch thing up again, because I don't need that kind of stress in my life anymore. Thursday. I am having a seriously hard time getting used to the fact that summer is over and I have to get out of bed every morning and go to school. My summer did not exactly get off to a great start, thanks to my older brother, Roderick. A couple of days into summer vacation, Roderick woke me up in the middle of the night. He told me I slept through the whole summer and that luckily I just woke up for the first day of school. Oh man, that is not a good joke. There's his brother trying to wake him up. You might think I'm pretty dumb for falling for that one, but Roderick was dressed up in his school clothes and he set my alarm clock ahead to make it look like it was morning. Plus, he closed my curtain so that I didn't see that it was still dark outside. After Roderick woke me up, I got all dressed and went downstairs to make myself some breakfast, like I do every morning for a school day. Man, this kid's not going to be happy when he finds out it's still dark outside. But I guess I must have made a pretty big racket because the next thing I know, my dad was downstairs yelling at me for eating Cheerios at 3 o'clock in the morning. His brother got him, huh? Look at, there's Dad. He is not very happy. It took me a minute to figure out what the heck was going on. After I did, I told Dad what Roderick had done and that he had played a trick on me and that he was the one that should be getting yelled at. Dad walked down to the basement to chew Roderick out and I tagged along. I couldn't wait to see Roderick get what was coming to him. But Roderick covered up his tracks pretty good. And on that day, I'm sure Dad thinks I must have a screw loose. Look at Roderick. So he went down to his room, jumped back in bed, pretending like he was asleep so that he would get in trouble. He wouldn't get in trouble. Okay, so here, next day, Friday. Today at school, we got assigned into reading groups. They didn't come right out and tell you if you're in the gifted group or the easy group, but you can figure it out pretty much right away by looking at the cover of the books that they handed out. So here are the two books that they handed out. This one says, Einstein as a Child. Do you know who Einstein is? He was a scientist that was pretty smart. And this one says, Blink Says Boo. So one of those books is harder than the other, I think. I was pretty disappointed to find out I got put in the gifted group because that just means I have a lot of extra work. When they did the screening at the end of last year, I did my best to make sure I got put in the easy group this year. Okay, look at, that's him at the end of last year, and his teacher is trying to test him to see where to put him. And it says, Fred picked up the blah, blah, the book. So he's trying to do bad on the test. Mom is real tight with the principal, so I'll bet she stepped in and made sure I got put into the gifted group. Mom is always saying I'm a smart kid, but that I just don't apply myself. What does that mean, apply yourself? Yeah, it means you don't try very hard. But if there's one thing I learned from Roderick, it's that people's expectations, to set people's expectations really low so that you end up surprising them by practically doing nothing at all. Okay, so here's a picture of Roderick. And right here it says, Roderick, I want your dirty underwear off the kitchen table before I get home from work. Okay, so all he did was pick it up. And later, they're happy with him. Actually, I'm kind of glad my plan to get put into the easy group didn't work. I saw a couple of the Blink Says Boo kids holding their book upside down, and I don't think they were joking. Saturday. Well, the first week of school is finally over, so today I slept in. Most kids woke up early on Saturday to watch cartoons or whatever, but not me. The only reason I get out of bed at all on the weekends is because eventually I can't stand the taste of my own breath anymore. That's kind of icky. All right. Unfortunately, Dad wakes up at 6 a.m. in the morning, no matter what day of the week it is. So he is not really considerate of the fact that I'm trying to enjoy my Saturday like most normal people. Look at there. Dad's in his room vacuuming it early in the morning. I didn't have anything to do today, so I just headed up to Rowley's house. Rowley is technically my best friend, but that is definitely subject to change. I have been avoiding Rowley since the first day of school when he did something that really annoyed me. What do you think annoyed him? We were getting our stuff from our locker at the end of the day, and Rowley came up to me and said, "You want to come over to my house and play?" I have told Rowley at least 1 billion times that now that we're in middle school, we're supposed to say hang out, not play. But no matter how many nudges I give him, he always forgets the next time. I have been trying to be a lot more careful about my image ever since I got to middle school, but having Rowley around is definitely not helping. I met Rowley a few years ago when he moved into my neighborhood. His mom bought him the book called How to Make Friends in New Places, and he came to my house trying to tell me all these dumb knock-knock jokes. Knock-knock. Uh-huh. Thermos. Excuse me? Thermos be some way to tickle your funny bone? Say what? That's kind of weird, huh? I guess I kind of felt sorry for Rowley, and I decided to take him under my wing. It's been great having him around, mostly because I get to use all the tricks Roderick pulled on me. Did you know that if your hand is bigger than your face, it's a sign of low intelligence? Really? So look what he's doing to him. So he tells him to put his hand over his face. He's really? And he pushed it into his face. But I do have low intelligence. What's this say? But do I have low intelligence? Let me check again. So he fell for the trick. All right, we're going to stop there. I will be back on Monday. Have a good weekend.